It was supposed to be an ordinary flight from Los Angeles to Washington. DC passengers shuffled in, business travelers with laptops, families with sleepy kids, and one quiet woman in seat 21A. She wore a dark hoodie, mirrored sunglasses, and carried a calm that didn't quite fit the crowd. The flight attendants didn't know her name. The manifest listed her simply as Evelyn Ross. She barely spoke, only nodded politely when offered coffee, then stared out the window in silence. 30 minutes after takeoff, as the plane crossed over Colorado, something strange happened. The cabin lights flickered, and the captain's voice came through, a touch of confusion in his tone. Folks, we've just been joined by company." Through the oval windows, passengers gasped. 2 F-22 Raptors were flying in tight formation, one on each side of the commercial jet. Phones came out. People whispered nervously. The captain spoke again, voice trembling slightly. "Ladies and gentlemen, we've been asked to maintain current altitude. Looks like the U.S. Air Force is giving us an escort. Please remain calm." Panic rippled through the cabin. Someone asked if there was a threat. Another passenger muttered about hijacking. But seat 21A stayed perfectly still. Through her window, one of the Raptor pilots turned his head, locked eyes with her, and then did something no one expected. He raised a gloved hand to his helmet and saluted. The passengers watched in stunned silence. Slowly, Evelyn lifted her sunglasses and returned the faintest smile. No one knew it yet, but they were flying with a legend. Minutes later, the captain's voice returned, this time more urgent. "We've been directed to land immediately at Andrews Air Force Base. Please fasten your seatbelts." Phones lost signal. The plane banked east. On the ground, military vehicles waited. When the aircraft finally stopped, soldiers surrounded it instantly. The captain's door opened, and 2 officers stepped inside. Their eyes scanned the cabin, then stopped at 21A. "Ma'am," one said sharply, "the secretary is waiting." Every passenger turned to look as Evelyn stood. She slipped off her hoodie, revealing a black tactical undershirt, and on her sleeve, a faded patch that read, "Wraith, U.S. Air Force Special Operations Command." Gasps echoed through the cabin. Some whispered her name. Others recognized the call sign. A name from classified reports, a pilot declared killed in action 3 years ago. Evelyn gave the attendants a small nod and walked down the aisle as the soldiers saluted her. Outside, the 2 F-22s idled on the runway, their pilots still watching. That day, a group of everyday travelers witnessed something unforgettable. The return of Lieutenant Colonel Evelyn Wraith Ross, America's invisible ace. She wasn't supposed to exist, but legends never really disappear. Within minutes, air traffic control rerouted the flight directly to Andrews Air Force Base. The calm hum of the cabin broke into chaos, passengers whispering, phones buzzing, and camera flashes lighting up the rows. But seat 21A remained still. Evelyn Ross didn't flinch. Her gaze stayed locked on the 2 F-22 Raptors flanking the commercial jet, their sleek wings glinting in the sunlight. As they descended, the captain's voice came through, tight with nerves. Folks, we've been cleared for priority landing. Please remain seated and, Miss Ross, you've been requested to disembark first." Every head turned toward her. Who was this woman? When the wheels touched down, the aircraft rolled to a remote corner of the base, where military vehicles surrounded the plane. Soldiers stood in formation, awaiting someone important. The cabin door opened. 2 Air Force officers stepped inside. The first looked directly toward the back of the plane and said firmly, "Ma'am, it's an honor. The secretary is expecting you." The cabin went silent. Evelyn rose slowly, slipped off her hoodie, and revealed the emblem on her sleeve, a black tactical patch stitched with a single word, Wraith. Gasps spread through the passengers. The officers immediately snapped to attention and saluted. The woman in 21A, the one who'd quietly boarded an ordinary flight, wasn't just Evelyn Ross. She was Lieutenant Colonel Evelyn Wraith Ross, a decorated Air Force legend, once part of Special Operations Command, and officially listed as killed in action 3 years ago. She had led a covert rescue mission deep in hostile territory. When her unit's chopper was shot down, she stayed behind to ensure her team's survival. The military had never recovered her remains. Until now, the world believed she was gone. As she walked down the aisle, passengers moved aside in awe. One man whispered, "She's a ghost, a real ghost." Outside, the Raptors idled on the runway, their pilots watching. When she stepped onto the tarmac, both jets dipped their noses, a gesture of respect known only among elite pilots. The salute wasn't for fame. It was for the soldier who'd saved countless lives, vanished in silence, and returned without seeking recognition. Reporters later confirmed the impossible. The Wraith was alive. A living legend who had spent the last 3 years undercover, serving in missions so classified that even her own command believed she was gone. That day, Flight 247's passengers witnessed history. An ordinary flight turned into a national headline the moment America's ghost returned home. And somewhere above the clouds, 2 Raptors flew a victory formation, saluting the woman who'd once led them into the fire, and came back from the dead to fly again.